Yeah, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Happy, happy belated 4th of July to man, woman, and child. Snub Nose Gambino, aka Von Don, exclusive STREETZ Wanna Know, Volume 2 and 3 update version. I actually dropped STREETZ Wanna Know Volume 2 yesterday, but phone difficulties and camera and whatnot. So today we doing the updated version and get straight to the point. Alright. First and foremost, for people who don't know, STREETZ Wanna Know is pretty much like a podcast that's building on different subject matters as far as like sports, whether it be NBA, NFL, USC, martial arts, politics, conspiracy theories, music, entertainment, etc. I shine my light on all subjects because there's so much out of order shit that's going on, and I feel like a lot of stuff need to be touched bases on to wake the masses up and get them thinking and moving in the right direction. All right. As far as with the NBA free agency, Volume 1, I touched on the Golden State Warriors winning their 4th championship in 8 years, which is a tremendous feat. But also, you can question the validity of that dynasty because it's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts concerning those chips they won. Even though they won them, but you can't say that about other great dynasties throughout the NBA. And we could take it back to the great Celtics dynasty with Bill Russell. You can't say that about them. They were just a better team when they was winning chips. Then Jerry West and the Lakers, a couple one-hit wonder teams like Portland, Washington Bullets, who was dominating in the late 70s, Seattle in the 70s. But on to the 80s, because that's pretty much what I remember as far as a fan base. And the 80s Showtime Lakers was pretty much ran wild on the Western Conference in the NBA. And Boston punished the East with Philly. And then you had a good Bucks teams. Don Nelson had them boys. That was like the San Antonio Spurs before the San Antonio Spurs were the Spurs. Making the playoffs every year, 50 plus wins. Just couldn't get over the hump. But they had great teams, you know what I mean? Don Nelson was a coaching guru, but they just couldn't get past Boston. And when they did get past Boston, they couldn't get past Philly. So then you had the great Bad Boys, which you can't really say nothing about them. But the only argument I'll say about the Pistons, who was my team at one time before I switched over to the Knicks, because I'm a fan of Isaiah Thomas, top 5 point guards all time. But Isaiah, if Isaiah didn't get that ankle injury in the 87 finals, the Pistons would have been the first three-peat team. And that's no arguing or none of that. The Bad Boys had their ass on the ropes until Isaiah got that ankle injury. And even when he got the ankle injury, he was still giving them the business. One of the most greatest finals performance ever to this date. And the Pistons, the Bad Boys would have been the first three-peat. So they have a great argument. That was a great dynasty. 3 straight NBA finals, 5 straight Eastern Conference finals. Only to be done up by the later the Wallace boys, and what they accomplished in the early 2000s was a great feat as well. But dynasty talks. It's just so much. And then with the Bulls finally overcoming the Pistons and winning their first three-peat, they beat all the teams, all the legitimate teams. They ain't had no injuries. The teams they beat didn't have no injuries, so you can't disdain what they accomplished. But with Golden State, you can do that because even in the 14-15 season, the first chip, LeBron carried the Cavs by himself to 6 games against them. Just imagine if he had Kyrie and Kevin Love. And then you run it back the next season, and that's when the politics get involved. Like, they win 73 games, which was a great feat. The greatest regular season team ever, okay? But they don't win the chip. And my belief is, if Draymond Green didn't get hurt, didn't get suspended, the Warriors would have wrapped that series up in 6. But being that he got suspended, Cleveland got the momentum, dusted him off at home, and then went on the road. And they split head-to-head. Now you're running back for the rubber match. Round 3, the Dubs get KD. And you know the rest. But my argument towards the Warriors dynasty, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was a rising star at that time. Ain't nobody have an ounce of form. He was basically tapping into his true potential. When the Spurs played the Warriors in 16-17 Western Conference Finals, the Spurs was winning by like 25 when he got hurt. So they was imposing their will on him and everything. Kawhi was getting steals on Steph. His defense on KD was magnificent. The only other player that can slow LeBron and KD down is Kawhi Leonard. The closest thing to Michael Jordan in today's game is Kawhi Leonard. And I argue that all day. Ain't nobody closer. On both sides of the ball, can change the outcome on both sides like Jordan. And the only other person I say is Olajuwon, because his defense was magnificent, crazy. But yeah, just like, so if Kawhi didn't get hurt in that series, that's where the politics come in. They wanted Kawhi to get hurt because they wanted the Warriors to win. The Warriors would have been, that was KD first year there. So Vegas bet heavy on Golden State. Spurs won 69 games that year. But to me, you should let the best teams win. I don't give a fuck about what's best for business. What's best for the fans. You cheating the fans when you do all that out of order shit. And it's getting old, NBA. You heard it here first. The streets want to know, Snub knows Gambino, telling it like it is. That shit is frivolous and it's foolishness. The Spurs should have beat the Warriors that year, and they would have dusted off the Cavs without question. And Kawhi, and then you'll be talking about Kawhi, top 10 of all time. Finals MVP, another chip to his resume, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Like, that's incredible. By 30. All by the age of 30. Never. Even Jordan didn't have all that by the time he was 30. Think about that. It took Jordan 7 years to win his first chip. Kawhi got his first chip in his second season. That's crazy. And a Finals MVP. Joining D Wade as the fastest stars to ever win a Finals MVP. Know what I mean? Drop the science on y'all. But my argument, I feel like, is valid. Like, the Spurs win a chip. If Kawhi don't get traded and don't get hurt, the Spurs and Warriors flip-flop championship seasons. Like, the Spurs probably would have won in 16-17, and the Warriors would have bounced back and won the next year. And that would have been the best rivalry in the Western Conference in a long time. Probably since like the Grizzly Clippers, OKC, Memphis. Spurs, Lakers. You know what I mean? And that type of rivalry. And that was what's needed for the NBA rivalries, good rivalries, not no lopsided rivalries. But that's just my opinion. It makes sense though. There ain't no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. And but there's a lot of ands and ifs and what with the Warriors dynasty, especially now since KD want to request to get a trade, which possibility they can trade him back to Golden State, which would be ridiculous to me because if you're trying to build your own legacy, you can't build another legacy going back to a team that's scrapped with stars. You an all NBA caliber player. You should be able to take your team to the next level like Jordan did. Like, it makes no sense to me. Stay in Brooklyn, work it out. You got a great player coach in Steve Nash, great system. Make that shit work. Got Ben Simmons coming back healthy, point forward. That offense, the more I think about it, even if they trade Kyrie for Westbrook, which I do all day, because Kyrie Irving is a headache, and he it seems like everywhere he go, he burn out his welcome. He wear out his welcome. Excuse me. So reunite Westbrook with KD. They amend their past relationship, and they figure it out and get it right, and do it the right way. That would be the storybook ending for Westbrook and KD. Cause they didn't get it done. They didn't get it done in OKC. Now they had years and experience to learn from their mistakes, and you patch things up. That's what true individuals do. You know what I mean? They learn from their mistakes, apologize, move on, and figure it out. You know what I mean? And they got a lot of offense there and pieces to do it with. You know what I mean? So if they trade Kyrie for Westbrook, I think that would be a solid move by Brooklyn to stay relevant and to stay in the conversation. Now, if you're talking about trading Kyrie and KD for AD and Westbrook, then that's a lot to consider about that trade. Because I think AD is the X factor in that. I think AD is still in his prime and haven't really fully reached his potential. We're talking about a player that can win an MVP possibly. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't trade no AD in that. I put everybody else on board and keep AD and LeBron for Kyrie. But if you're trying to get both of them, I trade LeBron for him. LeBron older. LeBron probably got a good 3-4 years left in the tank. KD probably got 6-7 more. You do the math. KD and Kyrie for LeBron and Westbrook. Brooklyn will still be in the conversation, a top 4 team in the East. LeBron, Westbrook, and Ben Simmons. Woo! Think about it. You heard it here first. I'm telling you some good shit. LeBron and Westbrook for Kyrie and KD. I jump on it. Cause that's gonna put fuel in LeBron back, and he don't really need no motivation, but that's really gonna give him the motivation to go out there and punish. You know what I mean? And Westbrook, chip on his shoulder, top 10 point guards all time. They gonna figure it out and be in that conversation. And Steve Nash offense, that's gonna be scary. So all depends on where KD and Kyrie go at. But my picks for next season in the NBA, as far as right now, not including if they get traded to such and such, because it haven't happened yet. But I do think out west, the West gonna be loaded. I think the Denver Nuggets, a healthy Denver Nuggets, with the reigning MVP, Jamal Murray coming back with Michael Porter and Aaron Gordon, that's a legitimate big four. and they just added some pieces as well. The Nuggets gonna be in the conversation. Minnesota Timberwolves, I definitely like Minnesota to be a top 4 team next year with the addition of Rudy Gobert. Um, the Warriors, top 2 teams, and the Clippers, John Wall with PG and Kawhi. A healthy Clippers will win the West. I don't give a fuck what the Golden State just did, because the Clippers can lock down defensively when they want to, and that will be a hell of a series. Not to mention Phoenix and Clippers is a budding rivalry. Those two teams don't like each other, so Phoenix in the conversation. All depends on what they do with DeAndre Ayton. But as constructed, if they bring everybody back, they should be in the conversation. Dallas, I don't know how the hell they made it to the Western Conference Finals as constructed. Like, no. They like a first or second round team at best. The Grizzlies are a serious threat. They're young. They on the rise. And they're going to be a top 5 team as well. And the Pelicans. It's about time for Zion to show out and show the world what he's capable of in leading the franchise. It's time for New Orleans to make some noise. They've been doormat for the last couple of years. Zion been tricking money up, stealing money. It's time for him to step up to the plate and do what he do. And I got them being a threat next year with CJ, the head NBA president. CJ be balling on the low. And one of the most underrated guards in the NBA, CJ McCollum. But they my teams out west. In the East, the Boston Celtics, to me, are the favorites for the additions of Malcolm Brogdon and Gallinari. Also, you can throw in the Bucks, adding Joe Ingles. Porter's back. Chris Middleton coming back healthy. The Bucks should be at the table again. Top 3 team in the East. And I'm waiting to see what Philly does with Tobias Harris and them. But Philly should be a threat as well in Brooklyn. But minus all that, Atlanta Hawks getting DeJounte Murray was a headshot. The Hawks are for real. That move let me know like they trying to make another run to the conference finals. Like, and the Knicks, keep your eye on New York. We should be at the table. Last year was a fluke. We gonna bounce back. We got a true floor general in Bronson. Tom Thibodeau know what he doing. Defend and rebound, execute on the offensive end. We should be back 51 season and be a threat in the East. As long as we bring back D-Rose and all the necessary pieces, we should be there as well. So the East is scrapped. Charlotte is a dangerous team on the rise. Steve Clifford should have them boys playoff bound. Indiana is a question mark to me. I'm trying to see what they're going to do with T.J. Warren. But they got a nice young team around Miles Turner, Rick Carlisle, championship pedigree. So I'm trying to see if they're going to pull another move or two, or they're going to try to fight for a playoff. To me, they're a playoff team. They just got to go out there and play Rick Carlisle basketball. But Indiana, on the low, should be a playoff team or a play-in team. And Detroit and Chicago, the Bulls should be a top 5 team. Get in Andre Drummond at the 5, with everybody else coming back. Zach LaVine re-signing, a healthy Lonzo Ball. The Bulls should be a problem. They just got to learn how to defend. If they can play defense consistently, they'll be a threat. So, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, Chicago. Question mark on Brooklyn because there's trades in the air. And Atlanta. Top teams in the East next year. You heard it here first. STREETZ Want to Know, Volume 2.5. 4th of July edition. Yeah, and the KD request, like the trade request for KD is crazy on a lot of reasons. Like, to me, him asking for the trade is because he know Kyrie later on in the season is gonna force his way out of Brooklyn. They in tune with each other, they best friends. Kyrie gave him a heads up, so he putting his paperwork in now. That's smart. You know what I mean? Well, why play the season and then when Kyrie forces his way out, y'all tricked in the middle? You know what I mean? When you can be in a better situation before the season start, and Kyrie can join you later on somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, they already talked about it. If you ask me, it was a mathematical strategy move by Kyrie and KD, and they tired of Brooklyn. Change of scenery is good sometimes for certain players, and I just think it's a politic game, nothing more, nothing less. I deal with the mental, so you can call it a chess move by KD. Now, the teams that he asked to get requested traded to, I don't see how. I think he'll end up on another team than in Phoenix and Miami, because I don't see how the hell either one of those teams going to fit the equation as far as talent getting traded back for him and capital. So, and to me, another thing, like, if you want to cement your legacy, why not go to a team that hasn't won a championship, like Orlando, Charlotte, Indiana? You know what I mean? That would be the icing on the cake. Indiana with Miles Turner, and the Pacers got assets and players that they can flip for KD. Orlando does too. So go somewhere with a franchise haven't won in a while. Neither one of Orlando been in one NBA Finals. Indiana hasn't been in no NBA Finals. Charlotte hasn't been in no NBA Finals. Go somewhere and definitely leave your mark and build the culture for what it is, instead of trying to join a super team and all that bullshit. That's why I don't really got no respect for KD. Even though he's a magnificent player, like Charles Barkley said, he a bus rider. You know what I mean? Straight up. You leave Brooklyn when you have a chance to lead, to go ride a bus with another team of stars. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's just me, you know what I mean, from my observation and my analytics. But I could be wrong though. You know what I mean? Tell me what you all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Streets Wanna Know Volume 2.5. Volume 3 will be another updated version on what's going on in the entertainment world as well as sports. Tune in. Once again, happy belated 4th of July to all man, woman, and child. This your boy Snub Nose Gambino signing off. Peace.